Richard reacted to Catherine keeping him in the dark about her cancer possibly spreading on the October 10 episode of Grey's Anatomy. A medical crisis led to Catherine Fox's, Debbie Allen, secret being revealed on the latest episode of Grey's Anatomy. On the October 10 episode of the hit ABC medical drama, Catherine's liver biopsy didn't go as planned and Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompeo, made the tough decision to tell Richard Weber, James Pickens Jr., against his wife's wishes. The choice ultimately backfired when she was on the receiving end of Richard's ire for keeping Catherine's health issues from him. Read on to find out more about this week's episode of Grey's Anatomy. Catherine's medical emergency reveals all Meredith revealed to her boyfriend Nick Marsh, Scott Speedman, that she is doing a liver biopsy on Catherine after realizing that her cancer may have spread. He doesn't know, does he? Nick asked, referring to Catherine's husband Richard, as Meredith responded, I tried to get her to tell him. She doesn't want to. Meredith later made up an excuse for being at the hospital when she ran into Richard, but he said he was hoping she was there to see Catherine. He explained, she hasn't been acting like herself lately. She won't say it, but I think your rift is eating away at her. Meredith and Catherine immediately started to bicker over keeping her cancer a secret for Richard, but Miranda Bailey, Chandra Wilson, reminded them, the only enemy in here today is cancer. Before the procedure, Meredith asked if she would reconsider not telling Richard, and she responded, I think I want to reconsider my surgical team. It's a biopsy, ladies. We'll tell Richard when there's something to tell. While doing the biopsy, Catherine began to hemorrhage, and Meredith quickly realized, this is more than a biopsy. I'm saying that even if we stop the bleeding, she could go into liver failure. She might never wake up for this. Richard needs to know. Meanwhile, Nick asked Richard to help him perform a liver transplant without general anesthesia, but Meredith texted him 911 after the complication. Nick then informed him, Richard, you need to go. It's your wife. Meredith is doing a procedure on her. You need to go. Richard raced to be with Catherine, and when he found out they were trying to prevent her from going into liver failure, he bent down and kissed her hand and told them to take care of her. Catherine woke up for surgery, and Bailey informed her, you're alive, and also your husband is waiting outside to see you. You told him. She asked, and Bailey replied, it became more than just a biopsy. Catherine then thanked Bailey for everything and decided to give her back her job. She said, I know I've been stubborn and very difficult, but you're a big part of what makes this hospital great, and you should always be here. Richard confronted Meredith about lying to his face, and she replied, I'm sorry. It was hard enough to get her to agree to do the biopsy. I'm sure you can relate. Do you even know how many times I've stood up for you? How many times I've defended you, Meredith? He asked, and she answered, I tried to get her to tell you. You don't think I would have been able to handle it, he told her, and Meredith countered, I think she was scared. That's exactly why you should have told me, he added. Shame on you. Ben Warren, Jason George, offered to help Miranda Bailey, Chandra Wilson, at the clinic before his interview for a new job with new residency director Sydney Herron, Callie Rocha, but she claimed she has some business at the hospital. When Ben arrived at the hospital early for his interview, Sydney quickly made him realize he would be getting no special treatment as he attempted to return to medicine after his turn to firefighting. She told him, I know you're Dr. Bailey's husband, but I cannot shuffle around for you. I say no to Nepo. During his interview, Sydney was underwhelmed with career pivots, explaining, I'm more of a dance with the one that brung you kinda gal. Jack of all trades is great if you want a task rabbit, but for a surgery. He interjected, I think you'll find that I'm a very good surgeon, adding, in addition to my 4 years as a general surgery resident. I was a firefighter for 5 and an anesthesiologist for 7. When I set my mind to something, I master it. Despite his confidence, Sydney worried that he was committed and told him, I'm not sure you have what it takes. You want commitment? I've carried people down 10 flights of stairs while wearing 75 pounds of gear. You want patience? I convinced a helpless teen to step away from the ledge. He explained, stick-to-itiveness. I've been happily married for 12 years, and I have 3 children that I love more than any career, so if you want to bring me back, I'll be fine. After finding out she was being replaced by Bailey, Sydney informed her that she hired Ben and called him a keeper.